How's brothers and sisters? This is the first video version of Ulf Hovards' Feast Hall. I am taking it up a notch in the podcast show of being just an audio, and now I'm gonna make it a video. So I've got a co-host here now. He's joining me. This is Hayes Thorsten. He is now my co-host, and now y'all know a little bit about me. And before we get into what I would like to talk to you about today in this particular session, I want Hayes here. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, how he came to the path, and so forth, so that you've got an idea of where his head's at. So, Hayes, why don't you tell the brothers and sisters a little bit about yourself?
All right. Look here. Well, I'm in my mid-30s. Well, early 40s, sorry. And I was a Christian for most of my life. Did a lot of searching, soul searching, and went through a lot of different religions trying to figure out where my way was in life. And never could really find anything that really completely meshed with me.
Mm.
And
Totally relate to that.
So I had some kind of drastic things happen in my life where I completely just said, "No, Christianity's not for me." I didn't choose to be anti-Christian or anything like that. I was just basically an atheist or maybe even agnostic. So I'm living. I meet some people and who's actually walking this path, and we get to know each other. They become friends of mine, and one of them approaches me one day and was like, "Hey man, have you ever thought of being an Odinist?" And I was like, never gave it any thought. It sounds pretty weird to me because, you're worshiping Odin and comic book characters. It's like, doesn't seem right to me, And it's like, no, it's not about that. It's about the way of life. And I was like, okay, so I'm intrigued. What's going on? So he teaches me a little bit about the Assyrian Code of Nine, and
Nine Noble Virtues.
the Nine Noble Virtues. And from then on, it was all a lot of self-taught. And but that's what brought me in to this way of life was obviously I was already living it because the way I am with my family, the way I am with my friends, I'm protective, and I try to do the best that I can with what I have. And they saw that in me, and they wanted, me to, elevate myself into this. And ever since then, that's what I've been doing, and been on it for about 9 years now. And that's where I am with that. And I'm trying to, anybody that comes my way, I try to bring them in if they feel worthy themselves, because you always got to have your own self. You have to value yourself in this path.
Absolutely.
And so that's where I'm at with that.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate. Thank you, Hayes. Now, if you don't know what Odinist is, it's another term like Asatru. They are modern day terms for Norse pagan, which a lot of people out there are starting to call themselves. It's what I call myself. I refer to myself as a Norse pagan. Okay, today the episode that I want to talk about with Hayes here and get his perspective is actually a subject that I made my first podcast on, and it is on the idea. It's a controversial idea, I think. Some of you will agree with it, some of you won't. Now I'm just offering you my perspective from my own meditations on the subject and the enlightenment that I was shown. And I'll give you why I've come to this conclusion. But the subject is, are we perfect, or can we be perfect? Because day in and day out, not only talking with people in here in the shadows, but even seeing posts out there, pagans, non-pagans, Christians, Hebrews, Jews, Muslims, they all say the same thing. Oh, we're not perfect. We can't be perfect. Well, first off, one of the first things that led me to this was reading in the Asatru Edda. Now, I am not Asatruer, but this particular Edda It has a lot of information that the Prose Edda does not have, the Poetic Edda, the Mask of Odin, and so forth. And they give reference of where they get this information from. But in the Asatru Edda, under the section of Ask and Embla, the creation, the very beginning, this is what Odin says to Ask and Embla. All right, it says, "Then Odin said to Ask and Embla, be human, be the parents of the world. In devotion, you were created as perfect beings." All right, perfect beings from the creation. When he gave us that breath of life, the own that he gave us. When Vili and Ve, or Honer and Loder, however you wish to call them, because there's two different sets of names there, the gifts they gave, these are the things that made us perfect because they're the essence of Odin and the gods. All right. One of the biggest things as well that led me to that conclusion is that's a Christian philosophy. It is a biblical teaching. Where they get this whole idea of not being perfect is because they feel and are taught that they are born in sin. All right. Now, sin is not a philosophy that we adhere to. This is not a teaching that our ancestors held. So, therefore, we are not born in sin. We have no sin in us. Sin does not exist. As far as I'm concerned, in my perspective, nowhere in any of the books do I read that there is sin. Now, yes, we can make mistakes, but that doesn't make us imperfect. Making a mistake just makes us human. And that's what Odin said, be human. We're going to make mistakes. And to me, these life mistakes are just tools of life, from life lessons that teach us how to make better decisions in the future. Because when you do make that mistake, you can better believe the universe, the gods and goddesses, are going to have you tested in the same, maybe not the exact same way, but where a decision could be made the same way, or did you learn? Are you going to use that tool to make a better decision? All right. Any thoughts on that?
Well, as far as being perfect, I mean, yeah, I think we can strive to be perfect. I think we can be perfect. I think if we're living our 9 noble virtues and the Assyrian Code of 9, or whatever virtues you feel you want to live, if you're living that way, yes, you can be perfect in that sense. Are you perfect to a Christian? Probably not. Absolutely not. I mean, they have their own views on things. Everything they do, like you said, they
probably any of the spiritual paths that follow the biblical teachings.
Correct. I would say, like, one thing that got to me is, like, my grandmother was a very devout Catholic, and that woman was an amazing woman, and she was just on top of her life. She was a great woman. She did what she did. She did her tithes and everything. I mean, the lady did. I don't know if she went to church every single week, but I know she was definitely devout to her religion. But she was scared to death to die because of her religion, and it just really irked me. And that was another one of those reasons why I just couldn't follow that path anymore. Somebody so beautiful and so great could be scared to die. Because what they say in Christianity is once you die, it's like you have a beautiful life, like life is going on. But
yes.
Why be scared about it?
That's right. Well, here's my perspective. All right, perfection has many facets, and this is some of the areas that I talk about when I first wrote this up as a study and made it into a podcast. Is perfection is a perspective. All right, I asked 10 people to go out into a rose garden, pick the perfect rose. All 10 of those people are going to come back with a different rose. Absolutely. Because perfection is a perspective. All right. In my perspective, perfection is multifaceted and has many levels. All right. On this path, pagans, and then it doesn't have to be Norse pagans. I'm going to say pagans in general, but especially us Norse pagans, because that's what we are. So I'm going to relate to that. We are in a path of elevation and progression to transcend, to become our best versions, to come into our fullest potential. So as long as we're on that path, that we are doing that, and we're not going in the opposite direction, then we are perfect to a level of consciousness that we are on, and in this level in life. Everybody is at a different level of consciousness. Just like the Havamal, it says that everybody is of a different level in wisdom. And it has to be that way because some people need help to be elevated. They need guidance, they need encouragement. So you need people that are up on an elevated level to help bring them up sometimes. So as long as we are on that level of progressing forward in our path, we are, in my perspective, we are perfect. Just as Odin said, we are created in perfection. We are perfect beings. Maybe not to the, like you said, not to the definition of what a Christian has perfection as. But as far as us, as Norse pagans, we are perfect. We have no sin. Mistakes are not what make us imperfect. They are what make us human. They are life lesson tools to use to make better. So what else is there? There is nothing else to make us imperfect. So there is only one thing left to be, and that is perfect, following the path of progression and elevation. So
that sums it all up to me. I mean, I think that's, I couldn't have said it better, my brother.
Okay. So this particular episode is going to probably be shorter than most. I just wanted to introduce, this is the first airing of the Ulf Hovards Feast Hall with my brand new co-host, Hayes Thorsten. This is new. This is a new experience for us. But here's what I wanted to ask you as the audience. What would you like, area-wise, subject-wise, with our path, the Norse pagan path? What would you like us to discuss or talk about? What would you like to hear our perspective on? I don't want this just to be about us and what we want to talk about. I want this to be about you, the patrons of the Feast Hall. What would you like to hear?
Give us some feedback.
Yes, give us some feedback. We value that. And you can do that either in the comments of this video, or you can send an email to me at hovardulf@gmail.com. That is HOVARDULF@gmail.com. My mouth is dry. I'm on day 3 of Odin's ordeal of no food and no liquids, and all this talking is making my mouth very dry. So if you see me trying to lick my lips and all, that's why. So I do apologize for that. And I hope all the brothers and sisters out there that are participating in Odin's ordeal to stay strong. I pulled the rune Avaz this morning, which represents loyalty, sacred marriage, bonding and connecting with your Filja or your fetch, loyalty between you and the gods, you and your spouse, you and friends, you and yourself, you and your any kind of loyalty it covers. Also, it represents the horse, and which is a mode of transportation for traveling to the realms, skinwalking as they do call it in our path, the shamanistic version, or astral projection. So we want to hear your comments. We want to hear your feedback. What areas, what ideas or concepts would you like to hear us talk about and discuss and get our perspective on? This is about y'all, not just about us. So any last words of encouragement?
Hey, keep going, man. Keep going.
All right, brothers. Love y'all. I appreciate the likes and the follows. I just now reached 1,000 on TikTok, which helps me. Now I can do lives, which I wanted to do. I wanted to actually hold like a little class or discussion about this path on lives. I will be able to start doing that now that I've got 1,000 followers. Keep liking, keep following, share my content with others, and let's see if we can get a bunch of Norse pagans together on one mind and excel, elevate, and progress, because that's what we're about, elevation and progression. That's the mead that's served here in this feast hall. So much love, brothers and sisters. Skål. Y'all have a great day.
Skål.